Ooh. That's better. Yeah, local volume was a little low on the speaker very much. Yeah, I didn't notice the speaker was down. 20.
Welcome to Helping Hands with your hosts, John Neiman and Judy Ritchie.
Hello, and welcome to Helping Hands. This is our opportunity to let you in the community know how you can lend a helping hand to an agency or a program in need. First of all, before we go any further, I'd like to welcome John back. Last month he was out with his foot, and it was the Judy and Judy show, and we really struggled to get through, but he let me come back. So on that note, I'm Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels.
And I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center, and welcome to the June edition of Helping Hands. You can tell by our set decor we are enjoying wonderful weather, kids getting out of school, planning on a great summer, and we're also planning on you watching us and being with us for our seasons. Our first guest today is we're going to talk about community volunteering and what makes someone want to volunteer, what drives them to volunteer. So our first guest actually has a special role at Aurora. Her title is Volunteer Ambassador, and we welcome to our set Donna Walter.
Thank you.
And Donna, to have a special title means that you've done something that's outstanding at Aurora and as a volunteer. And can you kind of explain to us how you achieved that title?
Well, I'm there 30 hours a week. I'm there 5 days a week. I'm busy as a bee. I am all over the place. I do things for everybody and enjoy what I do.
And they realize the value of having someone who's consistent like that. And with Donna's personality coming from the community, she knows so many people in the community that they thought being an ambassador for Aurora would be a great role for her. So she does have her own office, her own phone line, and her own email. But let's start. Why did you decide to start volunteering, and then why did you choose Aurora?
Because my husband passed away at Aurora 9 years ago. So I've been at Aurora now 8 years. It'll be 8 years this fall. And they took such good care of him while he was there. And I felt I wanted to give back to Aurora. So I came there so that I could volunteer and do for other people that came in there. And if they needed a help, to hold their hand or talk to them, I could be there.
And I think, Judy, that's one thing that we see when people come to Meals on Wheels or to us or any agency is they have to have some connection to the agency.
They do. And I mean, I have a gentleman that's volunteering for me right now that he knows several people from his church who had received meals, but also his neighbor encouraged him to spend a little spare time with our folks. And it's been a wonderful match. And you and I can go out and talk to people and say, gee, why don't you come volunteer for me? We do this and this and this. And we're paid to say that. But we also believe in what we're doing. I mean, we have that passion or we wouldn't be there as many years as we've been. But having a volunteer like Donna saying, why don't you come with us? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Carries more weight with the average person in the community.
Exactly. And I think, so the first hint that we have for anyone who wants to think about volunteering in their community is find something that you're passionate about or find something that you want to learn more about, because one thing with volunteering is the educational component. And as Donna came in and Donna worked and grew, she got to learn more about certain processes with the computer programs and things like that. So it wasn't just smiling at people and saying hi, but she got to learn some things along the way, where sometimes she knows a little more than me in some things also.
Yes.
Let's talk about what does an average day look like for you?
Well, I come in at 7 o'clock in the morning. I deliver newspapers. I have a cart that I push, and it's full of toys and stuffed animals and different things that have been donated that I give out to kids. So any kid I run into, I say, come and pick something out of my cart, and they just love it. I've had children, like on Mother's Day, we had flowers, and I gave this little boy, he was in the emergency room, and I gave him a flower, and he gave it to his mom, and he kept saying, "Flower mama for you." And I thought, that just gave me chills. I thought that was just wonderful. But just those little things like that mean so much to them.
And sometimes, what's funny about volunteering too, because I'm sure you get the same thing too, is that sometimes people will say, we need a volunteer to do this, and they think that we have this empty room somewhere where we just pick a volunteer up and say, come and do this, and they don't realize that we have a process for volunteering. And Donna also helps with that process. So when someone wants to volunteer, Donna will send out the volunteer application to them. And then we get the volunteer application back. We have to run the background check. We have a process to do, and sometimes Donna will get phone calls from people or from parents who will say, oh, my child needs to volunteer, wants to volunteer. And we kind of have to share what news with them, Donna.
That they're not old enough. That's the big thing.
Yep.
You know.
Or that there's a process to it.
Yeah, some of them don't want to wait.
Yeah, and they're energetic, but they have to realize that we do have to do the background check.
Right.
And the orientation and the training. And sometimes it can take 3 to 4 weeks before you can bring a volunteer into your agency.
Right, and because we're working with a vulnerable population, either program, we really have to be careful with the background check. And, you know, the frustrated, I want to be a grandma who doesn't have grandbabies, can't just come in and rock babies in the nursery.
That still is probably, I would still say that's our number one request, is people who want to rock the babies.
And we don't do that.
We say to them, if you walk by our nursery, they kind of get a little depressed because they don't see babies in the nursery because they're with the mother in the room for most of the time. But we do average about 50 births a month at Aurora, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So there are other things that we can do for the babies and the mothers besides, you know, the knitting of the blankets and the baby hats and the baby booties. And then we also give them a little a book bag that comes from the public library.
Yes.
There's other things, you know, that we then can do. But I think, as you just said, that's our number one request, is people want to rock the babies.
Yeah.
And it's just something that we don't do at Aurora, just because of where the babies are located and everything.
In my idea, fun is the gift shop.
Exactly.
And
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's on her. That's on her goal. I will tell you that most of the volunteers that we get right now are either high school or college students who are going into a career in pharmacy, nursing, medicine, rehab. And the one most popular place for them in our hospital is our ER Angel program. They work directly in the ER. They can do as much or as little as they want to interacting with the doctors, the nurses, and the patients. But that's our most popular. But we've had a switch now with our gift shop. You want to talk a little about our gift shop?
Yes, our gift shop, people should come and visit, because it isn't just a gift shop anymore, it's a boutique. We have clothing, we have jewelry, it's just marvelous. And we have such wonderful volunteers in there that'll help you with anything you need. It's really great.
They will do the ordering for us. They will do displays for us. They've switched the whole atmosphere of the gift shop, which takes pressure off of me.
Right.
Then. And so we're always looking for volunteers who want to work in that environment. You get to meet the doctors, the nurses, the patients, the visitors. But you get to do what you want. If you don't want to do displays, you don't have to. If you want to use some of the fabric that Judy has donated over the years, and
There's some more coming.
And change up all of our displays, we do that too. But really, since we got this new florist in our gift shop, the sales have just been up, and the items have been up, like you said, from the jewelry to the clothing to home decor. It's just been wonderful. So our usual gift shop hours are 10 a.m. But we have volunteers that will come in and open it up at 9 a.m. and stay open until 4. But we're always looking for more volunteers in the gift shop. We train you. It's a great experience, you know, to kick off your volunteering.
Right.
Well, and when you talk the gift shop, some of that jewelry and some of the other pieces are all original work by local artists.
Yes, thank you for that too. I tell you, I think the the boot is really bothering me that my memory is gone. But
Yes.
that's one thing that we did when Aurora first started. They said to me, "Here is this blank room. It is your gift shop. Fill it." And I had a month to do it. I knew that I couldn't order from companies and all that, so one thing that we did was local consignment. We got local artists and vendors to come in, and so our gift shop is a little unique that way because we do have vendors like Mary Young and her painted glassware.
Brian Prebrino with floral arrangements and jewelry,
Yep.
or
Yep.
Carlene Christensen with her pieces.
And Carlene and Mary are now volunteers in the
Right.
gift shop because they loved having their stuff, and they got, just last night, again, I had someone came in and they were talking to Carlene and to Mary, and they walked out with a lot of purchases because they knew that it was going back local, and all the profits from our gift shop go to our foundation. So it's going to a good cause. So if you're interested in volunteering in our gift shop, please let me know. I also want to talk about one unique thing that Donna does for me, is she gives the tours to the volunteers after they've gone through the orientation. Why I like that is because they can ask Donna anything.
And that's almost, well, what I have is one of my volunteers always taking a new volunteer out. Because again, I do the orientation and then having this extra training done by another volunteer. It's peer-to-peer and, again, less intimidating for asking questions.
Right,
It's
because
wonderful.
they know that they can ask you anything. There is a special group of people that we have to give a shout out to.
Yeah.
It sounds like a group or something. Donna's Boys. We'll give a shout out to Donna's Boys. Oshkosh Christian does an in-service every year. Sometimes it's twice a year. Sometimes it's once a year. They don't even contact me anymore.
They just go through Donna.
They just go through Donna, and we do a service project for them, and we do service learning. And they're the boys from Oshkosh Christian, and they just were here
Yeah.
again this past spring and did a huge project for Donna.
Yep.
Always have to have their picture with Donna.
Yeah. They're
And it-
just wonderful boys.
So Donna's a great community resource too, which we
Yeah.
know that our volunteers are, because then they go back out into the community and share with the community their experiences. If you had to say one great thing about volunteering, what would you say?
Being able to talk with different people and make them feel at ease. There's people that come in there, like even in surgery, you see people that they're scared and everything, and you can tell that. And I can stop, I can talk to them, and sometimes I can relate to them, because I've gone through quite
Explain
a few
that, Donna.
Well, I just had a hip put in because my dog took me down. But
And you were back to work in
7 weeks
So she had a hip, she had a knee, and she had other surgeries.
in
and-
6 months.
Yeah.
4
and
surgeries in 6 months.
So she is very good to relate with the doctors and the patients and the visitors of what they can expect and what's going on,
Yeah.
which I think is great. And I will say that a lot of my volunteers are in Donna's situation where they've come to Aurora because of some connection.
Yeah.
Either a loved one passed away or someone else volunteered there. So we'd ask our audience, if you're interested in volunteering, figure out what your passion is and what you want to learn about, because that will really enhance your volunteering experience for you.
Definitely.
I want to add one other thing. One of the great things about Aurora, volunteering with Aurora, as a volunteer, you do or I do, if we're gone for the day or several days, we don't have to get our own subs.
No.
That's all done at Aurora. And it makes a huge difference for us in the stresses and the pressures. So that's one of the things I really like.
Thank you, Judy. And that's true. For us, we let the volunteers set their own schedule. If they can't make it in, they can't make it in. And so we just want to treat people. And again, Judy and I have said this before, we will never ask a volunteer to do anything
That we wouldn't do.
That we wouldn't do ourselves. And we're right in the
Right.
trenches with
Definitely.
them when doing this stuff. I wanted to bring Donna on just because I think she's exceptional in what she does. She's a people person, and I'm sure that there's a lot of Donnas out there in our community who could volunteer, whether it's Bethel Home, Evergreen, Mercy, any place that you have a passion for. If you want more information on volunteering in our community, you can call myself, John, at Aurora at 456-7013.
Or Judy at Oshkosh Family and 651-3316.
Or Donna at
456-7723.
and she always gets back to you. So thank you very much for being with us, Donna,
Thank you
today,
very much.
and talking a little about community volunteering. Stay tuned. We'll be back with our second segment of Helping Hands.
If you have expired or unused medication, don't flush it, pour it down the drain, or toss it in the trash. Safely dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box located inside the Oshkosh Police Department. It's convenient and anonymous, safe and secure, and it's open to everyone 24/7. Drop off your prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, pet meds, and more. Keep drugs out of the reach of children and out of our water supply. Dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box. For more information, visit the Oshkosh Police Department website at oshkoshpd.com.
Wisconsin is losing our World War II veterans. If you were a World War II veteran, or you know one who hasn't gone on an honor flight to D.C., please help us. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is partnering with all Wisconsin Honor Flight hubs to make sure every eligible vet remaining who served their country so selflessly gets the chance to go. It's time for them to see their memorial. It's time for their flight. To learn more or to make a donation, go to wisconsinhonorflight.org.
Hi, and welcome back to our June edition of Helping Hands. I want to take this time also to thank our sponsors who make this program available for you to watch on Life TV. We have Aurora Medical Center, Aurora Healthcare, who is our monetary sponsor. Without them, we wouldn't be sitting here today, and actually in 13 years we've been on the air, which is just totally
And 13
amazing.
is very lucky for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's a good number. And also Harnix then for our floral decor. And then also, where do you see us and where do you hear us? Of course, on the radio station 101.9 FM. And also on oshkoshmedia.org if you want to find out the schedule for our shows or any of the other wonderful shows that is produced by Oshkosh Media. Please go on their website at oshkoshmedia.org, and you can find out the schedules for all of the shows, which are there to benefit you and benefit our community.
And as we were talking earlier, all the volunteer opportunities, and we kind of missed some of the really specific ones that you have at Aurora. And one that I enjoy doing, haven't had a lot of time for yet, is the knitting and Afghans. And when we were at your building yesterday for the meeting, Renata is sitting out in the lobby greeting folks and knitting at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's one of the benefits that she has of volunteering for you.
And then she gets to see, and that's true, and thank you for saying that, because then she gets to see who the items get donated for. Mm-hmm. She makes the most beautiful, glamorous prayer shawls of the softest yarn. And again, it's all a trickle-down system. The yarn that we have is donated because I don't feel that a knitter or a crocheter should have to donate yarn, which is expensive, just to make their items. So we actually have someone that we both know who came to our craft fair, Stacy, who's a pharmacist who makes items that she sells, and she donates the profits to our Knitters Nook, so we can then buy the yarn so Renati and the knitters can knit the items. I tell you, one project that we want to do, and that we get requests from the high school and college people is to have a class on knitting and crocheting. They would like to get together and learn from others how to knit and crochet.
Right, and someone who was really good at teaching knitting was Ann Sider, who was a teacher at South Park, and she taught so many of the kids at the middle school level how to knit. And that's how my Chris learned to knit. She didn't enjoy it as much as she did crochet, but And then Anne remembered so many of her students, and when they had babies, they got all these beautiful little baby booties. And they were treasures.
See, and that's a lost art, which I think. So hopefully we can get some volunteers to come in a couple times, maybe during the day and at night, to teach people how to do that and how to give back through knitting. Because there's also other programs in town that will take the knitted scarves.
Right. I know how to knit, but I don't knit the way that Renata does. And I was told that I do it backwards. And I don't care if it's backwards. The finished product looks right, and
Right.
that's what's so important.
That is exactly right. And thank you for that. And so whatever your passion is, we have lots of opportunities, from pet therapy at Aurora to musical entertainment. We lost one of our dear friends, Jim McLean, a while ago, who used to come to Mercy and to Evergreen and to Bethel and to Aurora and play the piano. We lost him. We have a beautiful baby grand piano at Aurora.
Right in the lobby, right as you come in, it's there.
It's so nice when people come in and play. It's wonderful and it's magical.
So we've talked about those things, but we've got summer, warm weather, picnics. I am a person who does not do brat fries. The smell of it bothers me. But there are so many groups in the community who do brat fries at Pick and Save, at Festival, at various places in the neighborhood, or South Park at the art fair and everything. And patronize those brat fries. It's really good, because the monies raised from those brat fries is all returned back to the community by those organizations that are doing those sales. And it can be, again, maybe donated to Aurora. Some of that money is used to help for the sponsorship for the 4th of July parade. It goes.
That was a good segue, just to let our audience know that.
By the way, we are doing commentary for the 4th of July parade again this year.
Yes. So we're looking forward to that.
And John is a big sucker, so he always gets the candy.
I'm always looking for that candy.
Yes.
But you know what you said too, we had someone at our AVA meeting, Alliance of Volunteer Agencies, who said they just did a brat fry and it was wonderful. They got to meet a lot of people, share information about your organization.
And they earned like $700 or $800 for a
Yes.
weekend.
And they were happy with that because the money went back to their program. As we know too, a lot of not-for-profits don't have a lot of money to do outreach or marketing or community service projects, and so they have to earn it somehow. And so I agree with that too. Going to, whether it's festival or Pick and Save, I've seen the Altrusa Club.
We do Pick and
At
Save
Pick
South
and
several
Save.
times a year. Marion Janal is the brat fry queen. It seems like the group does really well. I do things in the background rather than at the brat fry, but certainly do a lot of promoting of it. As we talk about other things too, our church newsletter we just got this week has an article that the angel tree will be up in church very soon. The angel tree, in our case, is used to purchase supplies for the back to school fair, or the gift cards for the older kids so that they can go to the Gap and get an outfit. And so we do that. There's all these opportunities to collect school supplies, not only for back to school, the back to school fair, but also for the teacher's closet over at Peace Lutheran.
Right. So for all of those kids who are out of school right now and you're watching our show, just turn the volume down, but keep watching our show. Because I know you don't want to hear us talk about back to school in August, but the big back to school push and drive and fair is in August. Now is the time, as you said, to start collecting all of those items, because they will be asking for them, and that's anything. Markers, pens, backpacks, anything.
True. And I really hate to push it out so far, but November, December. Well, actually, in the fall, the Boy Scouts with the food drive for the pantry. And then when we get the holidays, people who will volunteer for Father Carr's or any of the other Salvation Army.
Good one, because we just had our Ava meeting again,
Yes.
and what she's already
Sherry
starting.
is already looking for people to do bell ringing, to help straighten the shelves in the Salvation Army pantry.
And serve the meals.
And serving meals.
So that's something that we kind of take a vacation from sometimes in the summer. But Sherry Waldron, if you want to do something useful and beneficial to our community, contact Sherry Waldron at the Salvation Army for serving the meals, but also she's starting to plan her bell ringing schedule.
Right.
That is a great thing to do as a family, is to ring the bells. And people just love smiling little kids, and they will give a donation to a smiling little child. So
And we'll-
plan on that.
And we'll backtrack to summer. With World Relief being located here in Oshkosh and the resettlement of so many families, right now there are, I forgot how many families from the Congo who are being settled here and will be renting space for the community gardens. And they're looking, World Relief and United Way are looking for people who have spare gardening tools that can be donated for these folks to use for their gardening, and then baskets, laundry baskets, bushel baskets, the big tubs that can be used for when they're picking the produce.
So should we have them call Sue at the United Way?
They call Sue at United Way.
So call United Way and ask for Sue Ponick if you have any gardening tools, equipment, or the baskets to put all of that wonderful fresh produce in. I can't wait for that. But that's another need too, that, and all of us have things lying around the house or that we collect that maybe we don't use anymore and we want to give them to a good home. That's a great cause.
It is. And when we're talking all these extra things, if you've got furniture that good furniture that you haven't been able to sell or don't want to sell, you just want it out of there, call St. Vincent de Paul Society, call Habitat for Humanity, call some of the thrift stores. Most of them will come and pick it up and take it. They're very happy to get it. And the human service organizations will provide vouchers for individuals that can't afford to buy it after a fire or some catastrophe in
Someone
their life.
loses their job. And that's a great point too, because we get calls all of the time saying, my husband just lost his job, we don't have anything, what can we do? And I know too that St. Vinny's is really, really good about the vouchers for the electric bill, for housing, things like that. So reuse, recycle, redonate in our community.
Repurpose.
Repurpose is a great thing for all of us to do. And also, like, this show is dedicated to giving back in our community, and giving back of your time is one of the most important things that you can do. And as a family, I'm really proud at Aurora because I actually have a great-grandmother, a grandmother, a mother, and a grandson, all
The
volunteering.
4 generations.
And they just love it, and they're learning from each other. So volunteer as a family. There's many organizations in this community that can use your time and your talents and giving back.
And I think it's important for the people in the community to know that even though we are paid to look for volunteers, we ourselves volunteer.
Right.
I belong to a service club, I volunteer for you, I volunteer a number of other places. I know you're volunteering out all the time too. So volunteering, not only is it good for the people you're helping, it's really good for you, health-wise, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything.
Right. You make good friends. We have our friends here at Oshkosh Media who volunteer their time and talents to put on the show. So we appreciate it. That was a good segue too. So we appreciate you being with us for this June edition of Helping Hands. I am John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center.
And Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels. Thank you for joining us.